Yeah, let's hop in. So I think over time, when we first saw sellers come on to PickFu, the main use case was always testing main listing images, and that's still the primary use case for what most sellers use PickFu for. But sort of the way in which sellers are testing has been changing a lot. So back then, the variations that were being tested were really simplistic and sort of just one and done polls, one and done tests. Like you work with a designer, you get a couple of different variations, you throw up one poll, maybe you're testing anywhere between 2 to 8 options, and you just pick the winner and you move on. And that was what we were seeing a lot initially. Over time, the savvier sellers who we've had on our platform, we see that they're actually building this not as a one-off, but sort of as an iterative process. So we like to advise that when people are testing, to test really drastically different variations, because that's going to give the audience something to react to, right? Like, for example, we're both wearing blue shirts here. If we're testing out it
wasn't planned that way, though.
It was not planned that way. But yeah, if we're going to test out our shirts on PickFu, then everyone's going to see that it's just 2 blue shirts. So it's not as big of a difference. But if it's like one of us if you're testing like different colors, something very drastic, very different thing, then that gives the audience something to react to better. Now, the savvier sellers are not just satisfied with that first test, but what they're doing is they're actually going into those images that they're testing and tweaking a little bit and then testing again, and then tweaking a little bit and testing again. And so it's become more of an iterative process of, okay, let's say your product, let's say you're selling like a nutritional supplement, and we all know that the packaging on nutritional supplements matters a lot. Mm-hmm. So what you'll see is you'll see sellers testing the font, like keeping everything else the same and just testing the font and seeing how that changes, and then changing certain claims on the packaging and seeing how the audience reacts to that. And so over time, it's this iterative process where maybe the changes aren't drastic initially, but when you look at the before and after, you see sort of this drastic improvement on the before and after. Interesting.
And so I'm always curious about stuff like this. We talk about this often, that the little details is what really makes the successful seller versus not. When you're talking about changing something as subtle as the font, how drastic can it be? Like, I mean, does it go from 90-10 type of thing where people are just like that overwhelmingly picking one or the other? Or is it like one of these like 51-49 things that's just making a subtle difference?
Yeah, so I think it depends on the change and sort of the difference in the font that you're choosing. A lot of times the heuristic that we've seen from sellers is to go for at least a 65-35 split. For example, with the rise of the aggregators, a lot of the FBA aggregators do use PickFu to optimize the FBA businesses that they do purchase. Mm-hmm. And I know, for example, Thrasio, which is one of the biggest ones, they try to go for a 70-30 split on any kind of visual change that they do, and they don't really judge anything as being sort of rock solid until they're changing things to see that 70-30 split.
So they want it to be pretty statistically significant before they make a decision.
Yeah, but in that process, they'll keep tweaking things to try to get to that point, and then they'll run a couple of tests to confirm that that's the case.
So what have you seen be like the thing that like kind of helps get it to that 70-30 the most? I mean, is it the font? Is it the way that the products are laid out? Is it the background? Is it trying to push the envelope of what is actually legal with Amazon's terms of service and actually having it like on a person or like some sort of quasi lifestyle shot in the main image? I mean, what's actually pulling the strings on these tests?
So it is actually all of the above, Mike. So I have a couple of images that I can share with you from some previous presentations that our industry liaison has given. So I'll share one. Yeah, I'll share one with you right now. This is one set of tests that we've seen where, basically trying to figure out whether it makes more sense to put that hang tag, put that wrapping on. And the benefit of being able to do that most of the time is that you get a lot more labeling in your image. So you're actually able to convey a lot more information about what your product is through this main image, where normally you might not be able to because of TOS, right?
Absolutely.
So this label here, it says glow in the dark blanket, but we've seen sellers stretch this so that you could be, it might say glow in the dark blanket, but that may not necessarily be exactly what that tag looks like. So that's actually an opportunity for you to convey a little more information here when you have this visual opportunity. The other thing that we've
photoshopping
seen,
and make up a fake fake tag or modify it a little bit. We know a few people that are doing that.
yeah, exactly. So here's another one, right? Like, actually, let me stay on that point there. So along that same point, where it comes to using labels to convey information, here's an example of that, where we're looking at a pack of 3 cutting boards, where you have this large ribbon strip which kind of packages everything together. Now, with the size of the strip, the way it's laid out, you can see that you can put a lot of information here. And then the benefit of this is that also, because the aspect ratio of the image is now a lot more square, it's actually filling up a lot more of the frame of that main image than if you were just to stack 3 cutting boards together.
Yeah, that's really brilliant. So what you're saying is that the thing here with the Gorilla Grip logo and extra large cutting boards is not real, and it's not really a part of the package, but they're putting that there in the main image to make it look like it's a part of the package and get more attention, convey more of what they're trying to get across, which is that this is a set of 3, that there's other colors available, etc. But when the thing arrives, it's not going to look exactly like that.
Exactly, yeah, because you can't imagine, I mean, I'm sure no one would actually ship 3 cutting boards packaged so broad, spaced out so broadly, right?
Yeah.
So.